My name is Olivia Evans. I'm 32 years old, and I'm a software engineer. For the past 8 years, I've written code for startups, built platforms from scratch, and solved problems that most people don't even know exist. My job is invisible to most people. You use software every day, but you never think about who built it. That's fine. I prefer working in the background anyway. Harry was different. Harry loved the spotlight. When I met him 5 years ago at a tech networking event, he was pitching his vision for a new project management tool. He had slides, projections, market research. What he didn't have was anyone who could actually build it. That's where I came in. "You're a software engineer?" he asked when we started talking after his pitch. "Yeah," I said, "full stack, been coding since I was 15. His eyes lit up. "I need someone like you, someone who can take a vision and make it real." I should have heard the warning in those words. Take a vision and make it real, not collaborate on building something, not work together as partners. Take his vision and make it real. But I was younger then, and Harry was charming, good-looking in that confident way that makes you ignore red flags. Within a month, we were dating. Within 3 months, we were building the platform together. Within a year, we'd launched NexTask, our project management software. Except it wasn't really our platform. I built it. Every line of code, every feature, every integration. Harry did the pitching, the networking, the fundraising. He was the face of NexTask. I was the one who made it actually work. And it worked well, really well. Within 2 years, we had 50,000 users. Within 3 years, we were profitable. Big companies were using our software. We had a team of 12 people. Revenue was climbing. Harry and I got married in year 4. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. I wore a simple dress. Harry wore a suit and gave a speech about how we were partners in life and business. Partners. That word matters. When we incorporated NexTask, we split ownership 50-50, equal partners on paper. But the reality was different. Harry made all the big decisions. He talked to investors, he set strategy, he hired people without consulting me. I kept building, kept coding, kept fixing problems. "You're the technical person," he'd say when I questioned decisions. "I handle the business side. That's how partnerships work." I believed him, or maybe I just didn't want to fight. Then, about 8 months ago, things started feeling wrong. Harry began having a lot of meetings I wasn't invited to. Investor calls, he'd say, boring stuff, you don't need to be there. He started working late at the office, coming home after midnight. Big client negotiations, he'd explain. Our joint business account started showing irregular transfers. When I asked about them, Harry would wave them off. Operational expenses, don't worry about it. But I'm a software engineer. I solve problems by digging into details, and the details weren't adding up. One Tuesday evening, I was working from home while Harry was supposedly meeting with investors. I needed to update some back-end code on NexTask, so I logged into the admin panel. That's when I noticed something strange. There had been changes to the user permissions, recently. Changes I hadn't made. Someone had created a new super admin account, username H_Stewart. My stomach dropped. Stewart was Harry's middle name, but why would he need a separate admin account when he already had access through his regular login? I dug deeper. This new admin account had been accessing financial modules I'd built, specifically the equity management system that tracked company ownership shares. I pulled up the access logs. H_Stewart had been in that module 17 times in the past month, always late at night, always when I wasn't around. I looked at the actual equity records. On paper, Harry and I each owned 50% of NexTask, but in the system, something had changed. There were pending transfers, shares being gradually moved from my ownership to a new entity called Stewart Holdings LLC. 10% of my shares, already processed, just waiting for final authorization. I sat there staring at my screen for a long time. Harry was trying to steal my company, the company I'd built, the software I'd coded. He was quietly transferring my ownership to himself. My first instinct was to confront him, call him right then, demand an explanation. But I didn't, because I'm an engineer, and engineers solve problems methodically. I needed to understand the full scope before taking action, so I started investigating. I checked our business emails. Harry had been communicating with a lawyer about ownership restructuring. The emails talked about consolidating shares and streamlining decision-making authority. I checked our financial accounts more carefully. Those operational expenses were actually payments to consultants helping Harry figure out how to legally push me out of my own company. Then I found the worst part. Harry had been meeting with someone named Victoria Chen, not an investor, not a client. I reverse searched her email and found her LinkedIn. She was a product manager, and according to recent messages between Harry and Victoria, she was also his girlfriend. Once the ownership transfer is complete, Harry wrote to her, we'll have full control. Olivia won't be able to fight it. The technical work is mostly done. We can hire contractors for maintenance. I read that message 5 times. The technical work is mostly done, like I was disposable, like 8 years of my work was just mostly done and anyone could take over. That's when I stopped being hurt and started being angry. Here's something most people don't know about software. Developers can build in backdoors, little pieces of code that give you access even when you're not supposed to. Security experts warn against this. It's considered bad practice, but I'd built NexTask from the ground up. Every module, every feature, every line of code had gone through my hands. And yes, I'd built a backdoor, not for malicious reasons, just as a safety measure in case we ever got locked out of the admin system. That backdoor was about to become very useful. I spent the next 3 days quietly documenting everything. I downloaded all of Harry's emails with the lawyer, I saved the messages with Victoria, I took screenshots of the pending equity transfers, I documented every suspicious transaction. Then I looked at our investor agreements and company bylaws. Harry needed majority ownership to make certain decisions without my approval. That's why he was trying to steal just over 50% of shares. With that, he could force me entirely. But here's what he didn't know. The equity management system required dual authorization for any ownership changes over 5%. I'd built that safeguard into the code myself. Both partners had to approve. Harry had been processing the transfers through his secret admin account, thinking he could bypass the authorization requirement. But the transfers were stuck in a pending state. They wouldn't finalize without my approval. He was probably planning to forge my authorization somehow, or wait until he'd manipulated enough shares to claim majority control. I wasn't going to let either happen. Harry had a big meeting scheduled with potential investors on Friday, major venture capital firm. They were considering a $10 million investment. Harry had been preparing for weeks. This was supposed to be NexTask's big break. The meeting was at 2 p.m. At 1 p.m., I put my plan into motion. First, I logged into the admin panel through my back door. I reversed all of Harry's pending share transfers, every single one. I transferred those shares back to my name and locked the equity module. Harry's secret admin account no longer had access. Then I changed some other key permissions. Harry's main account could still log in, but he couldn't access financial data, couldn't modify user permissions, couldn't change any system settings. Finally, I generated a complete audit report. Every action Harry's secret account had taken, every attempted share transfer, every late-night access, all time-stamped and documented. I formatted it professionally and prepared to send it. At 1:30 p.m., Harry texted me, "Big meeting in 30 minutes, wish me luck." I didn't respond. At 1:45 p.m., I sent the audit report to 3 people, our company lawyer, our accountant, and the lead partner at the VC firm Harry was meeting with. The email subject line was simple: NexTask ownership fraud, urgent review required. At 2 p.m., Harry's meeting began. I wasn't there, but I know what happened because our lawyer called me 20 minutes later. "Olivia, did you send that report?" "Yes," I said. "Every word is true, every screenshot is real." "The VC firm just called me. They're in the conference room with Harry right now. They want to know if this is accurate." "It's completely accurate. Harry has been trying to steal my shares for the past month. I have all the evidence." There was a pause. "This is serious, Olivia. This could kill the investment." "Good," I said. "I don't want investors who work with people who commit fraud." Harry came home at 4 p.m. I was sitting on the couch with my laptop, calm and ready. He slammed the door. His face was red. "What the hell did you do?" "I stopped you from stealing my company," I said. "Stealing? Olivia, I was restructuring ownership for efficiency. We need clearer leadership to attract investors." "You were transferring my shares to yourself without my knowledge or consent. That's called fraud, Harry." "You don't understand business," he shouted. "This is about growth, about taking NexTask to the next level. You're too focused on the code to see the big picture." "I built that code," I said, my voice steady. "I built every feature users love. I built the infrastructure that handles 50,000 users. I built the security that keeps their data safe. You did PowerPoints." "I brought in the investors. I built the relationships. I created the vision. And I created the actual product," I said. "Without my code, your vision is just words on slides." Harry paced the room. "The VC deal is dead. They pulled out. You cost us $10 million. "You cost us $10 million, I corrected, "by trying to steal from your partner." "I wasn't stealing. I have the logs, Harry. Every transfer you attempted, every late-night access to systems you shouldn't have touched, the secret admin account, all of it." He stopped pacing. "You've been spying on me?" "I built the system. I have access to everything. You knew that. You just forgot." His expression changed, less angry, more calculating. "Okay, let's talk about this rationally. We can work something out. I'll reverse the transfers. We'll stay 50-50. Just don't take this to the authorities." "Too late," I said. "I've already sent everything to our lawyer and to the VC firm, and I'm filing a formal complaint with our business attorney tomorrow." "Olivia, please, think about what you're doing. This will destroy NexTask, everything we built." "Everything I built," I said. "You just took credit." He tried a different approach, sat down next to me, softer voice. "I made mistakes, I admit that, but we can fix this. We're married, we're partners. Let's not throw away 5 years over a misunderstanding." "It's not a misunderstanding, and it's not just about the shares, is it, Harry?" His face went pale. "What do you mean?" "Victoria Chen. Nice emails, very romantic, planning your future together once I pushed you out." He didn't deny it, just sat there, silent. "Get out," I said. "What? "Get out of this apartment, it's in my name, get out of my company, and get out of my life. You can't force me out of NexTask, I own half." Actually, I can. I checked the bylaws. If a partner is found to have committed fraud or breach of fiduciary duty, the other partner can buy them out at a court-determined fair value. I've already filed the paperwork. Harry stared at me. "You planned all this." "No, you planned to steal my company. I just responded to your plan with a better one." He stood up. "You'll regret this. I'll fight you. I'll get lawyers. This isn't over." "It is over," I said. "And Harry, I changed all the system passwords. Your admin access is completely revoked. Don't bother trying to log in." He left, took some clothes and his laptop, slammed the door again on his way out. I sat there for a long time after he left, not crying, not angry, just tired. The legal process took 4 months. Harry tried to fight it at first, hired an expensive lawyer, claimed I'd fabricated the evidence, said the logs were doctored. But digital evidence is hard to fake, especially when you have timestamps, IP addresses, and system logs that all corroborate each other. My lawyer presented everything. The court reviewed the technical documentation. An independent forensic expert verified the logs. The verdict was clear. Harry had attempted to fraudulently transfer ownership shares. He'd breached his fiduciary duty as a business partner. The court ordered a buyout. Harry's share was valued at $800,000. He'd fought for more, claiming the company was worth millions, but the court factored in that without me, NexTask wouldn't function. I was the sole person who understood the entire codebase. I was the technical backbone. He did PowerPoints. Harry had to sell his shares back to me at that price. Payment plan over 2 years. After that, he'd have no connection to NexTask whatsoever. The divorce proceedings happened simultaneously, simpler than the business case. We'd signed a prenup that kept business assets separate. The apartment was mine. Most of our savings were mine. Harry left with his car and his personal belongings. He tried to badmouth me in the tech community, told people I'd stolen his company, but most people knew the truth. They'd seen me at hackathons, at developer conferences, answering technical questions. They knew who actually built NexTask. Victoria Chen? She disappeared from Harry's life pretty quickly once he lost his company ownership and his money. Turns out she was more interested in the successful entrepreneur than the unemployed guy living with his brother. As for me, I had to rebuild. Not the company, that was fine, but I had to rebuild trust in myself, trust that I could spot red flags earlier, trust that I deserved to take credit for my work. I hired a new business development person, someone to handle what Harry used to do, investor relations, partnerships, sales. But this time I made the roles clear. I'm the CEO. I make final decisions. I'm not just the technical person. NexTask kept growing. Without Harry's drama, I could focus on building features users actually wanted. I expanded the team, hired more engineers. We hit 100,000 users 6 months after Harry left. The VC firm that pulled out, they came back a year later, apologized for the confusion, offered funding again. I took a different deal with a different firm, one that valued technical founders. I eventually told the story at a Women in Tech conference, not for revenge, but because other women engineers shared similar experiences, partners or bosses taking credit for their work, being called just technical while someone else drove strategy. The response was overwhelming. Dozens of women came up to me afterwards with their own stories. Some had fought back, others hadn't known how. "What made you decide to fight?" one woman asked me.
I realized something. The code doesn't lie. People lie. Systems lie. But the actual code, the logs, the timestamps, those are facts. And facts are powerful if you know how to present them. 2 years after everything happened, I got an email from Harry. Subject line, "I'm sorry." I almost didn't open it, but curiosity won. "Olivia," it read, "I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I wanted to say I'm sorry. What I did was wrong. I let ambition and ego cloud my judgment. You built something incredible, and instead of appreciating that, I tried to take it. I've spent the past 2 years thinking about how I could have done things differently. I'm working at a startup now, junior role. Humbling, but I'm learning what real partnership looks like. Anyway, I saw NexTask hit 200,000 users. Congratulations, you deserve all the success. Harry." I read it twice, then closed it without responding. Maybe he was sincere, maybe he'd really learned something, but his apology wasn't my responsibility to accept or reject. I'd moved on. NexTask is now at 250,000 users. We're profitable, growing steadily. I've hired a team I trust, people who respect the work I do, who understand that technical expertise isn't just technical, it's the foundation everything else builds on. I still code, every day. Some CEOs stop coding once their companies grow, but I love it, the logic of it, the problem solving, the way a solution clicks into place when you finally figure it out. And yes, I still have that back door in the system. I probably shouldn't. Security best practices say it's a vulnerability, but it saved my company once, so it stays. I'm dating again. Slowly, carefully. I went to therapy for a while to process everything, learned to spot manipulation tactics,
Learned to trust my instincts when something feels wrong. The biggest lesson I learned: never let anyone make you feel like your expertise is less important than their vision. Vision is cheap. Ideas are everywhere. But execution, building something real, that takes skill. That takes years of learning. That takes work. Harry had ideas. I had the ability to make them real. But he forgot that without me, his ideas were worthless. I'll never forget that again. People sometimes ask me if I regret how it all played out, if I wish I'd tried to save the marriage, save the partnership. The answer is no. Harry made his choice when he created that secret admin account, when he started transferring my shares, when he planned my exit with his lawyer and his girlfriend. I just made sure his choice had consequences. And those consequences taught me something valuable. I'm not just a coder. I'm not just the technical person. I'm the person who builds things that matter, and I deserve to be recognized for that. 3 months ago, I was invited to speak at a major tech conference. Not a small workshop, main stage, thousands of attendees. The topic? Building and protecting your startup. I told my story, not with names, but with enough detail that people understood. I talked about the importance of legal protection, about documentation, about understanding your own value. But mostly I talked about back doors, not the security kind, the metaphorical kind. Always have a back door, I told the audience, not to do something malicious, but to protect yourself. Know your own systems, keep your own records, maintain your own access, because the moment you need it, you won't have time to create it. The talk went viral. Articles were written. Other founders reached out to share their stories. Some had been pushed out of companies they'd built. Others had barely avoided it. I started mentoring young technical founders, teaching them what I wish I'd known: how to structure partnerships, how to protect equity, how to document everything. One woman I mentored told me, "You saved my company." She'd noticed her co-founder doing exactly what Harry did to me, but because of my advice, she documented everything from the start. She'd protected her access. When he tried to push her out, she was ready. That felt good, better than revenge, better than winning my own case, knowing I could help others avoid what I went through. NexTask continues to grow. We're launching new features next quarter, expanding into new markets, building something sustainable. And every time I log into the admin panel, I see my name at the top. Owner, CEO, founder. Not technical person, not partner, not the one who codes while someone else leads. Just me, building something real, something that works, something that's mine. Harry tried to take that away, but code doesn't forget, logs don't lie, and backdoors work both ways. I built NexTask, every line, every feature, every function, and no one will ever take that from me again.